taking the bet. Barry Sanders and Man Millen danced a minuet. Folks from the senior center went out for a midnight stroll the night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. From Ironwood to Temperance, folks took to their feet, running out of their houses to talk to neighbors in the street. I heard a stripper overwhelmed flew right off over a pole the night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. People who'd moved out of state and left their hometowns choked up a bit to think things might be turned around. Every beautiful loser found their black and blue-eyed soul the night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. The night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. Choked up a bit to think things might be turning around. Every beautiful loser proudly crawled out of his hole the night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. The night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. 40 miles into the forest, 40 miles walking back. Who knows this time with a little luck we'll get on the right track. People who had lost their jobs felt they just might be on a roll the night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. The night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. People who'd moved out of state and left their hometowns choked up a bit to think things might be turning around. Every beautiful loser found their black and blue-eyed soul the night the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl. The night the Detroit Lions won the Super
Robert
Bowl.
Crenshaw did not write that song, as you may well imagine, at the apex of his life and career, but it actually was a way of picking yourself up and standing upright, right?
Well, I was definitely feeling pretty low when I was writing that song, and I just thought, well, what what event in history could happen to, to kind of turn the morale of the system of the city? And I thought, well,
which is itself a measure of how desperate things were.
Yeah, that was 2008. I mean, and they had just come off that fantastic season of a perfect season. I think the year, the year before, where they had lost every single game. Maybe that was 2006. But anyway, I was definitely thinking of some cosmic event that might turn things around, and that was the thing that I thought of as the Lions winning the Super Bowl.
It's we're entitled to the fantasy.
I left there for a long time. I mean, for 14, 15 years, I wasn't in the Detroit area, and then I came back, and when bad things happened economically in 2007, 2008, the manufacturing sector just took it really hard, and of course, Detroit had its chin stuck out as far as it can go in manufacturing. I mean, boy, it just was really bad. I ended up leaving twice because I couldn't find work in the city. I was in South Carolina and I was in Massachusetts for 8 months. Because things had fallen apart, in the deployment-wise in Detroit.
Well, I tell you something. We've talked about this before on this program. More people understand you this year.
Yeah.
Not so much because they're attached to their hometown, but because they are attached to their life. In Detroit, you were raised with a fair amount of, or at least we all were in the 50s and 60s, with a fair amount of patriotism about the place. Because people were always taking shots. So we talk about it in more particular terms, but I think that this is becoming more universal. And you've written a bunch of songs since then, which sort of goes to this Atheist Christmas thing, which begin to define some aspects of that, of your personality, but also of that kind of local attitude. Well, you know, I mean, not like Insane Clown Posse does.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of, but, there's been, I don't know, for the last, 50 years or whatever. I mean, there's been a lot of bad economic things there. But, artistically, musically, culturally, I mean, there's always great things that come out of Detroit. So, I mean, it's a mixed bag, just like I guess maybe a little more extreme than other places.
No, I think it's a lot more extreme than other places. When people, when you go to New Orleans and you go to the Ninth Ward and you recognize it, you came from somebody and I did. It looked like Highland Park at a certain point. I mean, things were in rubble. Nobody was rebuilding. You could see a long way. It's very flat in the Ninth, which is Michigan characteristic because it's glacial. And, no, it's like I felt, I can't say I felt at home. First of all, I haven't lived in Detroit for a long time, but more because well, actually, that's not true because I lived in the Cass Corridor for several years. So I did live in that situation that got devastated. So the Cass Corridor more got kind of gentrified by the medical center and all that stuff. But, it is now, I mean, it's a worldwide phenomenon anyway. And long before 1967 it was. But in this country, there will be more.